Right, so we're going deep on social media diversification today. And, when you sent these articles over, I gotta say, I was intrigued, but I was also a little skeptical at first. Yeah, like we all know we should be on different platforms, right? But this diversification thing seems like a whole other level. Yeah, it's not just about like copy pasting the same post everywhere. Exactly. It's not just about being present on multiple platforms, right? It's really about understanding the unique strength of each one and tailoring your content. Yeah, to resonate with a specific audience you find at. So it's less about being everywhere and more about being in the right places. Precisely. Okay. Like imagine trying to sell vegan burgers at a steakhouse. You might technically be in a place that serves food, yep, but your target audience is going to be pretty limited. Oh yeah, for sure. Much better off finding a place that caters to vegans and vegetarians, or exactly maybe even a food festival with more options. Exactly. Social media diversification is all about finding those venues online. It's about identifying the platforms where your ideal audience hangs out and then crafting content that speaks directly to their interests and needs. That makes total sense. Yeah. So how do we actually figure that out though? Like how do we know which platforms are right for us? There's so many out there. Well, the articles that you sent over highlight 5 key reasons why diversifying your social media presence is crucial. Okay, and those reasons can actually guide your platform selection process. Okay, I'm all yours. Let's hear these 5 reasons. Okay, first up is increased reach and visibility. So if you're only on one platform, you're limiting yourself to the users who are already active there. By branching out to different platforms, you can tap into new pools of potential followers and customers. Makes sense. It's like casting a wider net. Exactly. And you're not just reaching more people, you're reaching different types of people. Yeah. Each platform has its own unique demographic and user base, so you're able to connect with a wider variety of interests and perspective. Got it. Yeah, so diversification helps us reach a bigger and more diverse audience. What's number 2? This one is super important in today's unpredictable digital landscape. Risk mitigation. Putting all your eggs in one basket is never a good idea, right? Especially when it comes to your online presence. Exactly, because what happens if that platform suddenly changes its algorithm? Or even worse, shuts down entirely. You started from scratch. You're left scrambling to rebuild your audience from scratch. And actually, one of the articles you sent mentioned a business that built their entire brand on a single platform. Oh, they were doing great until that platform made a major change that tainted their organic reach. Their engagement plummeted, their visibility vanished, and may really struggle to recover. That's like a nightmare scenario. Yeah, it's like building your dream house on a fault line. Exactly. You might be enjoying the view, but it's only a matter of time, but almost get shaken up. Diversifying your social media presence acts as a safety net. If one platform experiences issues, you still have other channels to connect with your audience and keep your business running. So we've got wider reach and risk mitigation. What's the third reason? The third reason is all about enhancing audience engagement. Okay. Remember, different platforms attract different types of users with different expectations and behaviors, so we can't just copy and paste the same content across all platforms. Exactly. Imagine posting a long, detailed article about, say, the intricacies of social media algorithms, right, on Instagram. People scrolling through Instagram are looking for quick, visually engaging content, not in-depth analysis. Right, you'd be like trying to perform a Shakespearean monologue at a stand-up comedy club. You nailed it. Think about understanding the nuances in each platform and tailoring your content accordingly. So think about the types of content that perform well on each platform. Instagram is all about stunning visuals, short captions, and engaging stories. LinkedIn, on the other hand, is where professionals go to consume longer-form content industry insights, thought leadership pieces. So instead of force-feeding the same content everywhere, we need to create a menu that caters to the tastes of each platform's audience. Precisely. And by tailoring your content to the specific preferences of each platform, you increase the chances of your message resonating and actually engaging with your audience. Make a lot of sense. Okay, I'm ready for reason number 4. Number 4 is adaptability and innovation. The world of social media is constantly evolving. New platforms emerge, algorithms shift, and trends come and go. It feels like every time I log in, there's a new feature or a new way of doing things. It can be overwhelming. Absolutely. But that's also what makes it so exciting. By diversifying your presence, you force yourself to experiment with different content formats and styles. Okay. You might discover that a type of content you never thought would work on, say, TikTok, actually performs incredibly well. Interesting. So instead of getting stuck in a rut on one platform, We're encouraged to try new things and stay ahead of the curve. Exactly. You're constantly learning, adapting, and evolving your approach. And that leads to a deeper understanding of what resonates with your audience and how to best communicate your message in an ever-changing digital landscape. This is great. Okay, last but not least, what's the fifth reason why social media diversification is so important? The fifth reason is all about cross-promotion. Each platform can act as a springboard to drive traffic to your other channels. Oh, so we can use our presence on one platform to promote our content on other platforms. Exactly. Think of it like a web. You can use a captivating Instagram post to encourage your followers to check out your latest blog post, which is linked in your Twitter bio, which also directs them to your YouTube channel. So it's like creating a network effect where each platform amplifies the others. Precisely. You're creating a cohesive online ecosystem where all your content works together to enhance your overall brand presence and reach a wider audience. Okay, I'm convinced social media diversification is clearly a smart move. But I have to admit, I'm still a little overwhelmed by the thought of managing multiple platforms effectively. Like, where do we even begin? That's a great question, and it's something we'll definitely dig into further as we explore this topic. Perfect. I'm ready to get into the nitty-gritty of how to actually make this work. Let's dive in. So you ready to tackle the how-to of social media diversification? Lay on me. What's step one? Okay, well, before you even think about creating content, you need to do your research. Okay, remember those 5 key reasons we talked about? I do. Use those as your guiding principles when choosing platforms. Okay, so if I want to reach a wider audience, I need to be on platforms that are popular with different demographics, right? Like maybe TikTok for younger audiences or LinkedIn for professional. Exactly. And if risk mitigation is a top priority, right, you'll want to be on platforms with stable track records and diverse features. Think about platforms that offer a good mix of organic reach, paid advertising options, and community engagement tools. So we don't want to put all our eggs in a basket that's prone to cracking. Yeah. So once we've identified a few promising platforms, what's next? Next, you need to really understand the nuances of each platform. Okay. What are the unwritten rules? What types of content perform well? Yeah. What are the best practices for posting, frequency, and timing? Oh, man. It sounds like there's a lot to learn. There is, but it's not as daunting as it might seem. One of the articles you shared, Chapter 1, Introduction to Social Media Diversification, provides some really helpful insights on this. Oh yeah, I remember that one. It had a bunch of examples. Exactly. For instance, it talks about how Instagram is all about high-quality visuals and short, engaging captions, right? You'll want to use features like stories and reels to keep your audience entertained and coming back for more. And I bet the tone is a lot different on Instagram than it is on, say, LinkedIn. Absolutely. On LinkedIn, people expect a more professional tone and content that provides real value. So think about sharing industry insights, thought leadership pieces, and articles that delve into topics relevant to your audience's careers. Okay, so different platforms, different vibes. What about Twitter? That seems like a whole other beast. Twitter is definitely fast-paced and conversation-driven. It's all about being concise, witty, and engaging in real-time conversations. Hashtags are key for discoverability, and you'll want to be active in responding to comments and joining in on trending discussions. Got it. So research the platform, understand its unique culture, and tailor your content accordingly. That's a great foundation. But what about the actual process of creating content for multiple platforms? That seems incredibly time-consuming. That's a valid concern. It's definitely a challenge to create unique content for multiple platforms, but there are ways to streamline the process. Okay, please tell me your secrets. I'm already feeling overwhelmed just thinking about juggling all of this. Well, one strategy is to repurpose your content. You can take a long-form blog post and break it down into smaller, bite-sized pieces for social media. You can turn key takeaways into infographic quotes or create short videos summarizing the main point. God's deliver. Yeah. So instead of starting from scratch for each platform, right, we could find ways to adapt and reuse existing content. Exactly. It's about being creative and finding ways to stretch your content further. And don't be afraid to experiment. You might find that a format you thought would only work on one platform actually performs well on others. That's true. Sometimes the most unexpected things go viral. So repurposing content is a great way to save time and energy. But what about the actual management of multiple platforms? Are there any tools or strategies that can help us stay organized? Absolutely. There are tons of social media management tools available that can help you schedule posts, track analytics, okay, and monitor your engagement across multiple platforms. Right, that sounds helpful. But even with those tools, it seems like it'd be easy to get lost in the weeds and lose track of our overall goals. That's why it's crucial to have a solid content strategy in place. Okay. You need to know what you want to achieve with your social media presence and what kind of content will help you get there. So it's not just about posting randomly, it's about having a plan and purpose behind every piece of content we share. Exactly. Start by defining your target audience for each platform. Okay. What are their interests, needs, and pain points? What kind of content will resonate with them? Right. It all goes back to understanding our audience. We need to create content that provides value and meets them where they are. Exactly. And once you have a clear understanding of your audience, you can start brainstorming content ideas that align with your goals and their interests. So think about the types of content that perform well on each platform and how you can tailor your message to resonate with the unique culture of each space. Okay, so we've got to research our content strategy and our management tools. Is there anything else we need to keep in mind as we embark on this social media diversification journey? Yes, there's one more crucial element to success: consistency. You need to show up regularly and engage with your audience on each platform. Don't just post and ghost. Respond to comments. Participate in conversations and build relationships with your followers. So it's not just about creating great content, it's about building a community and nurturing those connections over time. Exactly. Social media is all about relationships. The more you engage with your audience, the more they'll engage with you. This is all incredibly helpful. I'm feeling a lot more confident about tackling social media diversification now. That's great to hear. But remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Don't try to do everything at once. Start by focusing on one or two platforms, and gradually expand your presence as you get more comfortable. And don't be afraid to experiment and learn as you go. Okay, I'm ready to take on the challenge. Yeah, this has been a really eye-opening deep dive into the world of social media diversification. But before we wrap up, I have one last question. We talked a lot about the benefits and the how-tos, but are there any potential downsides or challenges we should be aware of? That's a great question. It's easy to get caught up in all the positives, but like any strategy, social media diversification have its challenge. And yeah, for sure, it already feels like a full-time job just keeping up with one platform, right? So how are we supposed to find the time to create unique content? Yeah, engage with our audience and stay on top of trends across multiple platforms. It's definitely a juggling act. It requires a lot of organization and strategic planning. You'll need to be realistic about the amount of time you can dedicate to social media and prioritize your efforts accordingly. So it's okay if we don't jump into every single platform at once. Absolutely. It's better to have a strong, consistent presence on a few platforms than to spread yourself too thin and end up with a half-hearted effort across the board. Makes sense. Quality or quantity, right? Exactly. And don't be afraid to delegate or outsource tasks if you need to. If creating visual content isn't your strength, consider hiring a graphic designer or using a content creation tool. If you're struggling to keep up with engagement, look into social media management platforms that can help you streamline your responses and interactions. Okay, so time management and delegation are key. What other challenges should we be aware of? Another challenge is maintaining a consistent brand voice across multiple platforms. Oh, yeah. If you fall into the trap of trying to blend in with the culture of each platform and end up sounding like a completely different brand on each one. Right, I've seen that. It's like they're trying to be all things to all people. Yeah, and they end up losing their unique identity in the process. Exactly. It's important to remember that your brand voice is what sets you apart from the competition, and it's what makes you recognizable and memorable to your audience. So how do we stay true to our brand while still tailoring our content to different platforms? It's all about finding the right balance. Think of your brand voice as your core personality, and each platform is a different outfit you can wear. The outfit might change, but the person underneath stays the same. Love that analogy. Like, I can be myself, whether I'm dressed up for a fancy dinner or wearing sweats for a Netflix marathon. Exactly. Your tone and style might adjust slightly to fit the vibe of each platform. Yeah. But your core values, messaging, and brand personality should remain consistent. Okay, so consistent brand voice check. Any other challenges we need to be prepared for? Measuring your results can also be tricky when you're diversifying your social media presence. Each platform has its own set of analytics and metrics, and it can be tough to get a clear picture of your overall performance. Yeah, that's a good point. How do we know if our efforts are actually paying off, if we're tracking different data points across different platforms? You'll need to establish clear goals for each platform and track the metrics that are most relevant to those goals. Okay. You might also want to invest in a social media analytics tool that can pull data from multiple platforms and give you a more holistic view of your performance. Okay, so track the right metrics and look for tools that can simplify the process. Anything else? The final challenge I'll mention, and this is a big one, is staying up to date with the ever-changing landscape of social media. New platforms emerge, algorithms shift, and trends come and go at lightning speed. I know. It's exhausting just thinking about it. It feels like I need a PhD in social media just to keep up. It can definitely feel overwhelming, but remember, you don't have to be an expert in everything. Okay. Focus on the platforms that are most relevant to your audience and your goals, and be willing to experiment and learn as you go. That's reassuring. Yeah, so even though there are challenges, it sounds like the benefits of social media diversification outweigh the risks. I definitely think so. If you're strategic, organized, and committed to the process, diversifying your social media presence can help you reach a wider audience, mitigate risks, boost engagement, stay ahead of a curve, and ultimately grow your brand in meaningful ways. This has been an incredibly insightful deep dive. Yeah, I feel like I've gained a whole new understanding of social media diversification, and I'm excited to put these strategies into action. That's fantastic to hear. Remember, it's a journey, not a destination. Be patient, be consistent, and don't be afraid to try new things. And to our listeners, we hope you found this deep dive valuable as well. Remember, the key takeaway here is that social media diversification is more than just being on multiple platforms. It's about being strategic, understanding your audience, tailoring your content, and nurturing relationships. And as you embark on your own social media diversification journey, consider this. What unique value can you bring to each platform? How can you differentiate yourself from the competition and create content that truly resonates with your audience? Those are great questions to ponder as you explore the exciting world of social media diversification. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.